Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've had quite a number of questions about, which is minimalist toy storage. So how many toys do we have? What kind of toys? How do we store them? And how do we set loving limits on how many toys we bring into the home at any one time? So I'm going to address all of those questions for you today. If you're new to our channel, welcome. We're so happy to have you. We are a large family. We have 5 children. They age from 11 till 1. So we have a huge range of ages that we cater for, but we just find that most of the toys all of the kids really enjoy to play with at some level. So if you look behind me, this cabinet here is, I would say, 90% of our toy storage that we have in our home. So we don't store anything in the lounge, we don't store anything in any other bedrooms. This is pretty much it. So I'll just go through with you. Up the top of this cabinet, I keep all of their sort of sentimental things. There's crystal that was left to them from their great grandmother, some little snow globes and things that were given to them as presents. So they keep those there just as their little sentimental items, and we change them out as regularly as, you know, they grow out of things or they get given new things. So that's fairly flexible up there. Moving down, up in this top box, I have the older girls' Lego friends. At the moment, their collection is quite small, so it all fits in this box. And then when they're ready to use it, they can carry it out to the table. They can set up their own little Lego friends world, and then when we're finished, we just put it back in the box. For me at this stage, I know that there's some parents out there that have a lot more Lego, but for me at this stage, what works is that we leave them in fully done. So we leave the vet done, we leave the surf thing done, all of that. They're all the complete set is done, and we just put it back as it is. So the reason that's up there is, as I said, I have a 1-year-old, so there's just some safety issues. I keep it up here. The girls do it at our dining room table when they're ready to do with it, and then they put it back. So he's not going to be putting any of that in his mouth. This is all the books that we have that we keep at home, that we actually own. We also have ebook readers. We've got iPad and things where the kids can, we download books for the kids, especially our older kids. And so that means we don't have to have as many books in the house at any one time. I also have one box that I keep out in the living room, and I'll show you that, where I keep whatever books we have on loan from the library, just for 2 reasons. 1, because I find that if they're out there, they get read more, and 2, so that we separated our books from the books that need to go back to the library. So these are all special books that we either maybe a gift or like Bibles and things that we keep and read over and over again. I also have one set of beginner readers. So as each of the kids, you know, they do get readers at school, but just to supplement that reading, I find that, well, certainly at our school, they get like 2 books a week. And so although we read those many times, we've got our own stash here that we can go through and get them started on reading. Down here I have, in this box, is dolls, Barbies, doll's house type stuff. So the girls do have a doll's house, which is actually put away at the moment just because it's just out of rotation. But all of their doll stuff, they'll set this up on the floor or on their bed, and they'll play for ages with this stuff. So that's there for them all the time. This box is probably the one that's constantly changing the most, and it's sort of all of our little toys. So dinosaurs, cars, toys for Baba, that sort of thing. So my baby, he's 1, his toys go in there. There's not a whole lot there, but they sort of change regularly. So as a birthday comes up, you know, at the moment, my 4-year-old is really into PJ Masks, so she has some of those toys. But, you know, we can, as she grows out of that, if there's not another child that's interested, we can pass those on or resell them and then get whatever is in fashion. So I do try and limit the amount of toys that we buy for our children, and we ourselves buy very, very few toys. So we prefer to buy experiences and that sort of thing. But you know, we are so blessed as a family that we have a large extended family and lots of friends that love to bless our kids. And I do allow birthday presents, Christmas presents, and we just work within these boundaries. So once these things are full, no more toys can come in until we let some go to somewhere else. So, I mean, I don't want to be a huge consumer. I would love it if my kids only wanted to play with eco-friendly toys and they were all wooden or that sort of thing. But to be honest, that's just not what they enjoy to play with. I've bought it before and then it sits there looking very beautiful but unplayed with a lot of the time. So I would prefer to buy what they play with, even if it is dreaded plastic, but keep it in good condition and like hopefully resell it or pass it on to another family who might be able to use it after us. So down here are two of the larger boxes, and I would say they are two of the most used. This one is full of dress up. So my girls love to dress up, and it's so handy if there's cowboy day at school or pirate day or whatever it is, or a book fair. We have our own stash of dress ups there, Disney princesses, the whole kit and caboodle, so they can go through and get those out anytime and they play and dress up. And so for me, imaginative play is just such a huge part of childhood, and the more we do it, I think the better we're setting up our kids for life and that sort of thing. So that's really important to me. And then in this box, it's full of Duplo. So Duplo for me is such a great toy. It's safe for little ones. It's really imaginative. We have the fire, the police, a little house, and the pizzeria. And my kids make all sorts of things. They make houses and cakes and all sorts of things, as well as like Lego towns and that sort of thing. Even my 11-year-old, he will happily get down, build a great big city for my 1-year-old to come and play with. It's just, I think it just transcends all ages. So we have a big box of Duplo there, and that's all the toys we keep here in this room. Eventually in here, it's empty at the moment, but eventually the kids' puzzles and board games will go into these drawers. At the moment, it's just too hard with Hamish at a little age, and he'll get into those drawers. But we probably have about half a dozen board games, and we play them all the time. So we have Headbands, Game of Life, we have Cluedo, we have Candyland, so those sort of games, we play them regularly. All of the family can play in some capacity. Usually my husband and I play with one of the little ones on their team, but we just love board games. We love playing game night as a family, so they're really important to us. And then I have one small box of puzzles, of wooden puzzles for the little ones, so Hamish is welcome to get into those anytime. I just think that's a fantastic way of doing fine motor skills, and even right up until my 6 and 9-year-old, they'll still happily do a wooden puzzle, especially if they're playing with one of the little ones. That's a great activity for them to do. So aside from this, there's only two other places I guess we keep toys. We have one rubbish bin, which is full of all the girls' soft toys. In my ideal world, it would be way less, but for the girls, soft toys are a huge part of their play. They absolutely love them. And so I've come to a compromise that as long as they fit in that one box and they get put away, they can pick one or two to put on their bed, but that's what we have at the moment for soft toys. The only other place we keep toys, I guess, is we have a big colouring craft box. So that has coloured paper, pencils, colouring books. I do keep a pencil case with like markers and scissors separately, which the big girls have access to all the time. I just don't keep it down low because obviously 1-year-olds will get into those tricks. And they are constantly getting out books. For my kids, I find that they don't enjoy colouring in as much as they enjoy drawing and creating. So I buy mainly like just lined paper or blank coloured paper, and they make all sorts of things, bookmarks, cards, all of that. And then their imagination takes control. So for me, I've just found such freedom in this toy system that what we do mainly is they just bring out one box at a time. So if they want to do Barbies, we'll bring that out. If they want to do Duplo, we'll bring that out. We've got a big mat in the lounge room. That's where we spend most of our time. They can come, they can play, and then when we're finished, it's a really quick process to pack everything up and put it away. Also at night, when my husband and I are sitting in our lounge room, it feels like a really adult space. It doesn't feel like we're living with the children's toys, which doesn't particularly bother me, but I do really enjoy that. You know, they can be put away, but they can also be brought out and enjoyed when we want to. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into how we do toys, how to minimalize. I guess my top tips for you would be give yourself a boundary of how many toys you're going to have. So whether it's a toy shelf or a toy box, that this is the amount of toys we're going to have, and then once this is full, we're going to donate or sell some before we bring some in. I also proactively go through toys if I know that new toys are coming in, so before birthdays and Christmas. I also encourage family and friends to give us consumable things, so like art supplies, bath things, fun bubble bath, that sort of thing, or experiences over toys if I can, so that we're just not getting a whole heap of toys at one time. The other thing that we have found really helpful is in our town we have a toy library, which is absolutely fantastic. So you can have 3 items out. It costs me $10 a month. It's kind of like Netflix for toys. You can come, you can get some toys and then return them as soon as you're finished. You can return and take out as often as you want, as long as you've only got 3 items out. So we've had kitchens and puppet shows, you know, big puppet theaters. And with that sort of thing, like, it's counted as one toy if you get the kitchen and the food and things that go with it. So that's been like so helpful, because children really, they can sometimes enjoy something and then, you know, once the glitter's worn off, they're sort of ready to move on to something else. So this has been a great way of us being able to, 1, reduce the amount we're consuming, because these toys are borrowed by hundreds of families, and 2, give our kids these experiences, these large things that we wouldn't necessarily buy, but they can have them for a week. We can have a good lot of fun, imaginative play, and then we can send them back to the toy library. So if you've seen my other video on our minimalist wardrobe, you know that all of our clothes are in one wardrobe. So the wardrobe that's actually in the kids' room is empty. So we put the bigger toys that we get from the toy library in there. So there's constantly an empty space that they can also go away, and there's a home for them when they come to. Now, you'll notice that I don't actually have any labels on any of the boxes, and all the boxes are the same. It has never been a problem. They just know, because we only have one out at a time, they know what's in every box. Toys don't tend to get mixed up that often. I do sometimes just go through and tidy up the odd one that's gotten into a separate box, but they know where everything is because there's not a huge amount of it, so I haven't really felt the need to label anything. I hope this has been helpful for you. Please leave me a comment down below if you have any further questions. I absolutely love hearing from you, and I can't wait to catch you in the next one. See ya.